I just left the 49ers locker room here in Las Vegas, and I've got some good injury news. Mykel Williams has got a chance to make this initial 49ers 53-man roster and play in Week 1. And I can show you what a crossbar looks like up close. Maintenance guys took down the goalpost during my instant reaction. They were in a hurry to start turning this field around for whatever comes next in Las Vegas. But Kyle Shanahan went out and said this about Mykel Williams, Nick Bosa, and George Kittle.
I mean, there's just guys that are going to be close, guys like Mykel. I mean, guys like Kittle is taking a step back. Want to see how Bosa does in these practices and stuff. So they're guys who are healthy and doing good, but are they ready to get back and play right away? And that's why, we have these mandatory 3 days off right now. But when we get back, we have those 2.5 days before we get on the plane. In those 2.5 days, we'll see our practice schedule. We'll at least get 2 big ones in, maybe a possible third. But I'm really curious to how it goes those 3 days before we go down there.
So the 49ers have to take 3 days off now, mandated by the NFL. Friday, Saturday, Sunday off from practice. Obviously, Sunday is the cut down to 53 men from 90, and the 49ers are going to do all kinds of roster gymnastics to keep as many players as they possibly can keep that they want in their building. I have the projection with all of those gymnastics up on the San Francisco Standard, so make sure to click the link to see exactly where they're at there. But following this weekend cut down and following the construction of their 17-man practice squad, the 49ers will take the field for at least 2 hard practices before they lift off to Australia on Wednesday. And it does sound like Nick Bosa is going to be out on the practice field. We'll see how his knee responds. I'm sure that George Kittle is going to be back out there, and we'll know by Sunday, by the cut down, if Mykel Williams is going to be out there. If you activate him from PUP on Sunday at the time of the cut down, then he's going to give it a go in practice, and I think that is good news for the 49ers. Out on this field today, saw a couple standouts. I thought that Adrian Martinez, the quarterback, he secured his practice squad spot. I think we're going to see him on the practice squad. Had a great chat with Adrian Martinez after this game. He put some good shine on Hayden Rucci, the tight end who made some big plays for the 49ers and might have also sealed a practice squad spot for himself.
Rucci seems really scrappy. I mean, he should have had a touchdown there, obviously.
Yeah,
they called it back. But then he had the broken tackle.
Yep.
Well, when you have a guy who can probably make the one guy miss the tackle, give you more confidence to throw to him in those big spots?
Absolutely. That's one of the biggest jobs of a quarterback is to get in the playmaker's hands. And the Rooch doctor, like we like to call him, he can do that for us. He is a lunch pail guy, a gritty guy. And it was 3rd and 12, and a check down to him, and makes the guy miss and extends the drive. I mean, one of the biggest plays of the game.
And then, of course, there is Jordan Watkins. 2 connections between Martinez and Watkins, who I think makes this 49ers 53-man roster. Despite a tough first half today, he turned it around with some of those big catches in the second half. And rarely do you hear a quarterback give you this kind of detail, but shout out to Adrian from the 559, giving us some good detail on his connection with Jordan Watkins.
Yeah, one of them, we had a stool route called, so it's kind of like a corner route. I saw that we had cloud into the boundary and felt like we had a window and made the appropriate throw, like Mick would always say. So, yeah, and then the other one, probably the keeper one, is that what you're referring to?
I think so. It was to the other side.
Yeah, to the left.
Yes.
Yeah, keeper throw. He just popped on the low, and again, I think Watkins had a great day. J. Watt. So a guy you can trust and game a catchable ball.
Why don't we spin this around and give you guys a little look at field level Allegiant Stadium. Teams come out through these tunnels. Oh, look, another piece of the goalpost just laying around here. This is one of my favorite stadiums in the NFL. Open air press box goes a long way. And the air conditioning works well in here because it's like 108 degrees outside. This is where the 49ers played today. Now, one thing is, what we saw in the second half, we saw guys like Alfred Collins, C.J. West, Jaden Duggar, all out on the field in the third quarter, which you don't normally like to see in the preseason from guys who are projected to be big members of your football team in week 1. But there are reasons for that. Kyle Shanahan went into some of it with Alfred Collins.
I mean, it was just good to get him back. You know, he had a real late start, which is not his fault. You know, he had some big surgeries to get over this offseason, so he's got a late start as anyone. And that's why I thought it was real important for him to play. You know, he went there, I think, 2 drives into the third quarter, which is more than probably what we usually do for him. But he's a little bit behind, which, again, wasn't his fault. But I think today and getting these 3 days off to recover, having those 2.5 practices before we go to Australia, I think he'll be ready by week 1.
Shanahan said a couple more practices, and the 49ers are going to get those this next week, and he thinks he's going to be ready for week 1. In the case of Duggar, you saw a couple missed tackles today. It's like, man, use that long wingspan, the record 7-foot wingspan for a linebacker. He was a little short with the arms on the second missed tackle against Dylan Lombardi, the running back. But then he was better and better as this game went along. He's going to be a high ceiling, low floor proposition. The 49ers just feel that if you give him a lot of playing time, which he got without getting hurt this preseason, he's going to realize the ceiling much more often than the floor once the games actually count at a much higher rate. And they think it was a successful preseason for Jaden Duggar. We got to talk about Eddie Pinheiro. I guess he pissed Kyle Shanahan off by calling the coin toss wrong, by not telling the officials what Kyle Shanahan wanted following the coin toss win for the 49ers. But obviously Eddie more than made up for it.
Yeah, it was good. He redeemed himself. I've never been more mad at him than when he chose to defer to the second half. I guess it's definitely my fault. I forgot to tell him that we received in the preseason, but I thought that was understood. I asked him what the hell he was doing. He said he wanted to kick off, and then he kicked a touchback. So I was kind of pissed at him at the beginning, but he redeemed himself.
Unfortunately for the 49ers, they have to play the Rams on the other side of the world. They're upset because they believe that, by the way, before I get into SoFi and losing a game there, this stadium here, this is like another home for the 49ers, their third home. It got loud here. And we all know that this was just a preseason game, but a lot of red in these stands, and the 49ers fans either traveled or there are just a lot of them in Las Vegas. It got loud here, but the 49ers' real home away from home is SoFi Stadium. They don't get a SoFi game against the Rams this year. They have to play the Rams in Melbourne, and as you hear here from Kyle Shanahan, it's like losing a home game.
I mean, I wish we played them here for what we usually look at as a home game, but we'll see how it is in Australia. So we'll play the Rams wherever. Going there, it is what it is, but it's going to be a fun atmosphere, and always when we play the Rams, it's a big, tough game, so looking forward to it.
Also a long flight to Australia, which Mac Jones isn't all too thrilled about.
Will this be your longest flight?
Yeah. I don't like to fly, so we'll see what happens. Not a big fan. Yeah. But
Anxiety?
I'll be fine.
Or just like
No, it's just like
restlessness?
yeah. I'm just like I
You
am.
need to run around the plane.
Yeah, exactly.
I understand.
Do some
I know.
high knees in the hallway or something.
Yeah. You run it up and down the center aisle?
Yeah, there you go.
I'll play the entirety of Mac's interview and one with Jordan Watkins at the end of this video. So stay tuned for that. Just want to go through a little bit more roster housekeeping with this cut down coming. Maybe moves start happening as soon as today. This is running on Friday morning, but the 49ers expect Curtis Rourke back at practice this next week, so I think he's going to make the 53-man roster unless they change their thinking there and try to run some kind of IR maneuver, but they only have a limited amount of those, so the 49ers really have to watch it. Obviously, they loved what they got out of their running backs, Kalen Black and Jordan James today. At the offensive line, Tim Ryan on the broadcast, 49ers color analyst, mentioned that Brett Toth has got a neck issue. I'm not sure if Brett Toth is therefore going to be able to be the backup center for the 49ers in Australia. And if you need to carry a backup center, does that mean that Drake Nugent, who's been on the practice squad since 2024, makes this team? That is definitely a place to wonder. Kyle Shanahan has also hinted that Vidarian Lowe, the swing tackle, might be one of the 49ers' return from IR designations. You get 2 of those, which means who's the backup tackle behind Colton McKivitz and Trent Williams? You're not going to throw Enrique Cruz Jr. to the fire, are you? I think that must mean that Austin Pleasance, unless the 49ers make a move, would be next man up at tackle for San Francisco. The big logjam is at the linebacker position. I'm not sure where the 49ers are going to go. Garrett Wallow didn't play because he had some back spasms. Shanahan essentially confirmed he's going to make this roster. We have to find out where Nick Martin is health-wise, where Luke Gifford is health-wise, both of those guys with hamstring injuries. So that is going to be a big question. Who exactly do the 49ers carry on the 53 and on the practice squad at linebacker? It's going to give us some big insight into how San Francisco is operating under Raheem Morris. Finally, we have to hear from Kyle Shanahan on Jordan Watkins at that receiver position, because it seems to be developing into a little bit of a polarizing player. But remember, he had a great first preseason game. We've seen some missed opportunities from him. We saw one earlier today. But ultimately, it seems that Kyle Shanahan is satisfied with the preseason that Jordan Watkins put together.
I think he's stepped it up. I mean, he's always had a good attitude, but it's how much more consistent, how much more can you attack each day. And I thought he really, you see how guys come back in year two. And I was real excited with how he came back all the way back to phase one, how he handled OTAs, and he's done the same here in training camp. And
we will go through all of Jordan Watkins and his interview after this. I do want to wrap up today with the injury report. It was an AC shoulder sprain for Ephesians Prysock, the rookie cornerback. So we'll see if that lands him on an injury list, or if the 49ers have to maneuver creatively, if Darrell Luter Jr. makes the team. But Ephesians had to exit this game. And then Braden Willis had to exit this game with a concussion. I don't know if that opens a door for Hayden Rucci for the 53-man roster, if they're just going to flex guys up. But Willis is also the 49ers' backup fullback. He did a really good job of that in the preseason, so we will see how San Francisco manages things. One final look at Allegiant Stadium. As you can see with the 49ers roster, when I put it up there, a lot of injuries, but most of these of the shorter term variety, some of them of the medium term variety, and the 49ers have more than 53 players that they want to keep in this building, more than 70 that they want to keep in this building if you include the practice squad as well. So for all the roster Tetris, follow me over the next few days and we will sort it all out. Kyle Shanahan is anxious to see how it all sorts itself out. Then the 49ers get back to practice, and then we fly to Australia. But 49ers will also see the Raiders again during this regular season, coming off their bye week. They do get the preseason win over the Raiders, much to the delight of the 49ers fans here. Eddie Pinheiro, 6 field goals, and now let us hear from Jordan Watkins as we send this into the night.
Clean up and stuff like that, but I felt like I did a really good job going out there, staying healthy, playing a lot of plays, and just showcasing what I got.
Do you enjoy being in the pass game and the run game equally?
Yeah, that's something that I've had to adapt to. Kyle challenged me last season to really be more physical, and that's something I really worked on, and that had to do with bulking up a little bit and putting on some muscle, and I feel like I really did a good job in the run game, and especially after that first preseason game, going into the second one, I felt like really had some really good blocking plays, and that carried over to this week as well.
This is a pretty veteran offense, so how hard is it for a young guy to crack and get a job in this offense?
Like you said, it's very veteran. A lot of guys have been here for a very long time, but I feel like you just got to get in where you fit in. I feel like Kyle and John drafted me here for a reason, and that's because they see that I can make plays in this offense and that I fit in this offense. So I just got to figure out what that reason is, and embrace it to the best of my ability, and that's just happened to do with embracing my role.
How did it feel out there with Adrian as quarterback?
I felt good. I feel like me and Adrian have a really good connection. Obviously we've connected on some plays, and obviously we're not, but that's just wide receiver quarterback play. He's got a lot going on in his head whenever he's taking the ball from the center, and I got a lot to think about as well. He's looking at the coverage, and so it's been fun.
Max said he has a really good relationship with you, just telling you, kind of coaching you up, and that you take coaching really well.
Yeah, me and Mac, I feel like that bond's been built over last camp. Last year I was running with the twos a lot, and obviously he was in whenever I was in, and going back from the Broncos, whenever we hit that first big play in the first drive for like 50-something yards, I feel like that's carried over to this camp as well. And then in Nashville, whenever we were in Nashville, he was there as well. So just building that connection was great with Mac.
think we're in a good spot. I think a lot of things depending on our first game. I feel like we adjusted really well, and I thought your team did a great job today and played well in the preseason. Like, I'm just happy for my guys, you know. And a lot of young guys got to play today, and I don't know, it's my 6th year, and like I'm glad I got out there and got some reps, but I'm really looking forward to this season because I feel like we got a good team so far.
What did you see from Jordan Watkins? I know he had a slow start last year because
Yeah.
of the injury.
Jordan's great. I always feel like I can be a little tougher on him, I guess, because we've built that relationship, and like he takes hard coaching really well, or whatever you want to call it. Like in practice, I'm like, hey, you got to get to this spot, and he always does his job. So I feel like he's done a good job improving each week, and he shows the speed. Like I'm always like in the game, I'm like just run fast, you know, like don't. Sometimes maybe he's a little slower, like just getting going. I'm like, just go, and he finally did that today, and I felt like he looked better.
What was the miscommunication on that deep one? It looked like he didn't see the ball.
Yeah.
Do you know what happened there?
I don't know. You'd have to ask him. I know the lights in Vegas are kind of like at that like level or whatever, but we hit the same play last year versus Denver in the preseason, so it was the same play, and just didn't connect this year on it.
When Jordan James is out there running hard, do you feel his speed and the pressure that he runs with?
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely like a really good receiver and played well in college, and it's translating. He's always out there practicing, trying to get better. So I feel like we got multiple guys, young guys, old guys, that all have different attributes, and he's done a good job, and he just got to continue to work.
I feel like the two Jordans have really kind of made a leap this year because last year they were kind of hampered by injuries.
Yeah, for sure. I think any first-year player, you have some injuries, and you're just trying to get your feet wet. So now it's like, all right, let me make a name for myself. But they did a good job just playing their role, and that's the challenge as a young player. You like try and do too much, and it never works out. So just playing within the scheme, and those guys will be hopefully good players for a long time in the league.
What do you think of Eddie Pinheiro?
What'd you say?
What do you think of Eddie Pinheiro?
Oh, he's the
today?
man. He's so good. He's chill. He just goes out there and rips it. I don't know. He's got a special, like, he doesn't care trait where he's just going to go rip it, and I respect that about him.
At what point do you and Brock start looking at Rams film together? Has it already started? Or?
No, I was all eyes on this game for me personally. There was some, you know, whether I was going to play or not, and just trying to focus on today. But I definitely am looking forward to it, and our team is ready to go. And it's quick, right? It's like next week it seems like we're going to be there. But playing an international game to me is so cool. You get to play against a team from the United States. Obviously, people will get confused about that. I'm like, yeah, we're playing in Australia, but we're playing the Rams. So it'll be fun just to get football in front of a different country.
You feel as over the course of this preseason you were able to knock off some of that rust?
Absolutely. You know, I think with each game I improved, and I think it's kind of all you can ask for, to go out there and feel like you're playing your best. And, you know, I felt like I did that today, finally.
Two throws to, well, actually I want to ask about the one on 4th down first. I think that was to Rucci, the tight end. It seemed that there were two defenders there. What was the degree of difficulty from your perspective on the move to kind of layer it over them?
Yeah, so it was a keeper, and I believe they had 6 on the line of scrimmage. So going into that, my mindset is that I might be a little dirty coming off. There might be someone in my face. Initially, that defender kind of came up. I thought I had attracted him, and then he fell back, but I saw Rucci had an edge. So a little loft and a little trust, and Rucci made a good play.
Then two longer ones a little bit later on to Watkins. Can you take us through the plays there?
Yeah, one of them, we had a stool route called, so it's kind of like a corner route. I saw that we had cloud into the boundary and felt like we had a window and made the appropriate throw, like Mick would always say. So, yeah, and then the other one, probably the keeper one, is that what you're referring to?
I think so. It was to the other side.
Yeah, to the left.
Yes.
Yeah, keeper throw. He just popped on the low, and again, I think Watkins had a great day. J. Watt, so a guy you can trust and game a catchable ball.
Rucci seems really scrappy. I mean, he should have had a touchdown there. Obviously,
Yeah,
they called it back, but then he had the broken tackle.
Yep.
Well, when you have a guy who you know can probably make the one guy miss the tackle, give you more confidence to throw to him in those big spots?
Absolutely. That's one of the biggest jobs of a quarterback is to get in the playmaker's hands. And the Rooch doctor, like we like to call him, he can do that for us. You know, he is a lunch pail guy, a gritty guy. And it was 3rd and 12, and a check down to him and makes guy miss and extends the drive. I mean, one of the biggest plays of the game.